All right, so welcome. We'll go ahead and get started. Um, Again, if you are here to learn about BLUU's presence at the 2018 General Assembly in Kansas City, Missouri, you are in the right place. We are going to be talking today about all of the things BLUU is doing there, particularly going over what's happening in the Black healing space, what's happening with public witness, and the different workshops that we are interested in. My name is Lena Gardner. I'm the executive director of the Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. Also, we call ourselves BLUU. I'm going to introduce now our BLUU Healing Space Coordinator, the amazing Latanya Richardson, who we are so thrilled to have on board. Yay! And I'm just going to hand it over to you to guide us through our adventures at General Assembly this year.
And an action-packed schedule it is. I've created a document that has a list of everything that's going on across various segments, and I'm currently up to 10 pages. So that's a testament to how much interesting content that we're going to have at General Assembly this year. First, let me start by saying that the BLUU Healing Space will be located on the first floor of the Convention Center. The room number is 1501C. And so it should be relatively easy to find. We are near restrooms and also right near the escalator. So the healing space will become available for us on Wednesday in terms of convention center staff and the BLUU organizing team being able to get in and set up the space and ready it for you all. But then the actual doors to the healing space will open for everyone on Thursday. And we will start with a welcome reception. The time for that reception will be 3:30 to 5 p.m. We're going to have a photographer on hand to capture some images from the welcome reception. We are encouraging you to bring your non-Black partners. We have extended invitations to some UUA staff, some local organizers, and also to our WARE lecturer this year, Brittany Packnet. And so this is one of the only times that the healing space will be open in a non-exclusively Black way. So we are hopeful that, we'll all come together and see one another for the first time since revival, and some of us meet one another for the first time. And we will have some food on hand, some heavy hors d'oeuvres, again, 3:30 to 5, so it's not quite dinner, but we will have replenishment or things for you to eat and drink there and enjoy. And then on the heels of the welcoming reception, we will have a discussion of the 8th principle featuring Elder Paula Cole Jones. That again is 5:30 to 7 p.m. It'll be in the healing space. You're welcome to stay following the welcome reception for that talk. We also have some BLUU interest meetings, and I guess I'll sort of go over those at the conclusion of each day. I'll first tell you about the healing space, and then I'll just backtrack a little bit to tell you about some events that are not happening in the BLUU healing space, but they are events that we think you would be interested in attending and getting more information on. So, so the third thing happening on Thursday in the healing space is that from 8:45 to 10 p.m., we are holding the room for caucus space for gender and nonconforming trans folks who would like to meet in the room. We will also have coffee and tea and water service available throughout that evening. So the General Assembly announcement that went out earlier today encouraged you to bring your coffee cups and water bottles and things like that. So, so that would be helpful to us from a zero waste and using as little of the convention center equipment as possible. So, and then the other thing to be mindful of, just want to throw this in as it relates to beverage service. Some of you, if you've worked with convention centers, know this, but they charge us by consumption. So please be mindful of that when you're getting coffee and tea, water, et cetera. Just get what you think you'll drink. That would be helpful for everyone. So those are the three activities that are scheduled for Thursday. We've got the welcome reception, we've got the the eighth principle discussion, and then we've got the caucus time in the evening. Those are the three things happening in our space. But also on Thursday, there are a couple of things that that you might want to be on the lookout for. One is that on Thursday from 1 o'clock to 2:30, there is the anatomy of a bailout. This is happening in room 2105, and shortly, Leslie will talk a little bit more about that in conjunction with the public witness. The other thing that's happening that you might want to make a note of is that there is a UU white supremacy teach-in transforming our faith session happening in room 2215C. So those are the things I'm going to mention about Thursday. Now moving ahead to Friday, June 22nd, second day of GA, we're going to start the morning at 7 a.m. We'll have coffee and tea and water for you if you get over at 7. And we're going to do movement and meditation. That movement may be yoga. That movement may be some mirroring. It'll be a little bit different each morning, but just look for it to be a time for personal reflection, introspection, etc. And we'll have meditation as well. That'll be in the healing space. And then you are welcome to hang out in the healing space throughout the day, even when there are not planned sessions. So we will have several different types of seating in the space, comfortable sofas and chairs, as well as an area reserved for pastoral care. Reverend Michael's going to talk a little bit more about that, but you'll have areas where you can have private conversation one-on-one with our pastoral care team. We'll have some tables set up with activities. We've got some adult coloring pages. Somebody mentioned Scrabble, so I'm bringing that game as well as several others that will be fun, so that we can laugh and joke and have a good time while we're in the space between programming. So Friday morning, again, as you move between the general session and the other programs that are part of GA, you're welcome to just drop into the space at any time. Our next scheduled program in the healing space will be from 12:15 to 1:30, and this is a Q&A session with the BLUU Organizing Collective, and we are going to live stream this event to a closed group. We will have some refreshments in the space, but not a full lunch. So what we're encouraging you to do is to pick up lunch somewhere of your choice in or around the convention center, and then meet us back in the healing space 12:15 to 1:30 to do the Q&A with BLUU. We'll have, as I said, beverages, and we'll have some light refreshments to supplement what you bring in for lunch. Then the next activity in the healing space will be 5 o'clock to 7 p.m. This is going to be a reflections, basically, on the UU Black Caucus as it was 50 years ago. This is the 50th anniversary of the UU Black Caucus and that General Assembly that some of us have heard all about. This anniversary talk is going to be hosted by Baba Sanyika. Many of you already know Baba, and it will be moderated by our own Dr. Takia Amin. So we encourage you to come and be a part of that session. Again, 5 to 7 p.m. We will not have dinner in the session, but we will have some refreshments, and you can bring in, whatever you need to be comfortable while you're in the space. We will also have an opportunity for question and answer. Then the next activity in the space on Friday is the BLUU Micro 30 meetup. So if you're a part of that group, they will be meeting in the healing space from 7:30 to 9 p.m. on Friday. And that will be followed by 9:15 to 10:30 p.m. Caucus space. If there is a particular group or a particular topic that you would like to meet up with others about, you can contact me directly. We'll also have some space in the room where you can make those requests and see if there are others that share your interest, and we can have space reserved for you on Friday evening, 9:15 to 10:30. That is also when we'll pull out the games and have some fun. So that wraps up Friday. And then back to interest events for Friday, I want to call your attention to one in particular, and that is a panel discussion that will also feature some music. The title is From Palestine to Ferguson, and it's actually going to be at the Marriott Hotel in the Colonial Room. And again, it's actually hosted by the UUJME, but BLUU's own Leslie Mack will be a featured panelist for that talk. So hopefully you'll be able to head over to the Marriott 7 to 8:30 to hear that. Then moving on to Saturday, June 23rd, we're again going to start the morning in the healing space with coffee and tea and water, 7 a.m. to 7:45. We're going to do some music, movement, and meditation. And then we have just free time as you move between the morning worship and the general sessions and programs. Drop in whenever you want to the healing space. And then our next program is 12:15 to 1:30, and that will be an HBCU talk featuring our elder Paula Quick Hall. And we, again, will have refreshments 12:15 to 1:30, but not lunch. So we're encouraging you to pick up something and bring it in, and we'll have some stuff there to supplement what you bring in. Then from 1:45 to 3 o'clock, so literally right on the heels of the HBCU talk, we're going to go into our BLUU worship and community sing that will be led by Reverend Michael. We're going to have some musical talent there, and I'll let him talk about that. But mark your calendar for that. That will be our exclusive BLUU worship service, and you know how we do it, so we want you to be there, ready to worship and have fun and celebrate ourselves. So next, from right after the worship and the community sing, which I should also tell you will be photographed and it will be viewable by live stream. But if you sign up ahead of time, Leslie's going to talk about this a little later, but if you sign up to go do the public witness work at Uzazi Village, right after the worship and community sing, we'll be boarding the buses to head over to do that project. And then that evening, Saturday evening, is the WARE lecture. We do want to have a presence there up front. Our speaker, as I mentioned earlier, is Tiffany Packnett. So we want to be there to support her.
Brittany Packnett.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, thank you. And the WARE lecture is from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Following the WARE lecture, I know you won't be tired, so come on back to the healing space. We're going to have a space set up for any groups that want to meet together and talk, have conversation, for any caucusing that needs to happen, and also for fun and games. There are a couple of really neat nightlife type places in Kansas City, and so we'll have some signups, and if people want to meet up in the healing space and then collectively travel by Uber or however, or walk to do some of the nightlife in Kansas City, then the doors will be open for that to happen as well. Moving into Sunday, we're going to again start our morning 7 a.m. to 7:45 a.m. with morning stretching, yoga, and affirmations. We'll have coffee and tea and water available for you. And then after that, the healing space is really just our space to play games and be happy and have fun and caucus if we want. But the room is available to you through 5 p.m. on Sunday. At that point, the doors will close and lock, and we need to be out of there. So if you happen to have a late flight and would prefer to bring your luggage or some other belongings over to the healing space until closer to your departure time, you're welcome to do that. We'll be in there. So again, just a recap, more or less, we're going to be open from 7 a.m. each morning until 10 or so p.m. each evening. I will be in the space as much as possible, but also know that helping me in the space will be Shindera. I think some of you may know her, but if not, she's in our Facebook group, so you can make those connections. And so you can feel free to bring any questions you have about programming in the space, any feedback you have about how the space is going and how you're experiencing the space. any questions you have. And if you know on the front end that there are some things you would like to see in the space, just let me know all of those little housekeeping details, and I will do what I can to accommodate your needs or explain to you why we cannot. At any rate, that's the gist of the healing space. And I just want to mention a really good email came out today from UUA, and it, in addition to reminding you to bring your reusable mug and water bottle, also encouraged you to pack light and encouraged you to use their discount code for the airport shuttle. I'll put a link to that on the BLUU Facebook page, so that if you have not already arranged transportation, you can take advantage of this $6 discount that you get by using the code. There are also some drum activities. In particular, there's an annual meeting and a worship service that do not conflict with activities in the healing space. So and the drum room is just a couple of doors down from ours. If you happen that way, you might be interested in those things, and they will be serving dinner there. I think that's all I have, and I'll just move along down the list and let the next person chime in.
All right. I think before we jump into the next thing, I just want to have a moment of gratitude and appreciation for LaTanya, who has been holding all of this with such attention to detail and love and care, and it's very much appreciated. So thank you. I'll mention one piece on a few different schedules. There is a listed joint drum and BLUU worship, and that's actually wasn't able to happen this year. So it is just a drum worship, and I just want folks to know that. It was literally just a scheduling mix up, and so we just want to let people know that. So with that, I think it's just each of us are just going to tell you a little bit about the pieces we're holding. That was a lot to run through, so thank you for that, LaTanya. We'll also be putting this out in written format for folks so that they can see it too written out. So you don't have to remember everything right now. And just hearing you say that, I was like, wow, I thought we said we weren't going to do a lot. And now I'm like, we're just doing it all in the healing space. Which makes me happy. So I am really excited about the welcome gathering and the reception. I'll be giving a little mini address, and we have a little surprise that we're brewing for folks. So that's really exciting. And with that, and again, that's at 3:30 to 5. That's from 3:30 to 5 on Thursday. So please join us then. And with that, I will just hand it over to Leslie to tell you about all things public witness.
I'm unmuted now. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I was a little bit late. So I think I'm going to talk about public witness a little bit later, or should I just talk about everything now? I just want to make sure I'm following the program.
You could just go everything now.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm sure y'all have seen me all over the place talking about public witness, which BLUU was really excited to kind of take the mantle of this year and kind of transform what has turned into or morphed into in our faith into a little bit more of a performative action, whether it was like a press conference or just a rally of some sort. We really wanted to think of public witness as a gift to the community that is welcoming us for General Assembly. And this year, that means Kansas City. And so over the last 6 months, we've spent a lot of time making direct connections with organizers on the ground, Black organizers in Kansas City. And we had a few issues that they were already working on that bubbled to the top. And we were happy to kind of extend all of the resources behind public witness to those 3 things. So the first is the panel that LaTanya mentioned. Obviously, y'all have probably been hearing a ton about the End Bunny Bail movement, which has turned into a very national and local movement. And so this year was the first year that Kansas City did actual Mama's Day bailout. They have another one coming up this weekend for Father's Day, and they're going to be planning some more in the future. And so this panel really is an opportunity for everyone at General Assembly, and it will be live streamed publicly for everyone to see in partnership with Love Resist and Side with Love, to give folks a really good understanding about why ending money bail is a really important issue to tackle in our carceral system. And secondarily, where in the process of going from not having done much work in a community all the way through having a really robust bail funds and bail work being done in a community, where can our congregations and where can you use fit into that work at the various points along the road from one part of the spectrum to the other? And so that's what the panel will really be focused on. And we'll also be talking a little bit more about some long-term work that BLUU is going to be doing with Love Resist to create a toolkit for congregations to engage with this work more meaningfully, not just at GA, but when they get back home into their own communities, and can plug into the work that's already happening where they are. And so that is going to be Thursday, June 21st in room 2105 from 1 to 2:30 p.m. The second thing I want to mention, which is probably what you've heard me talking the most about, is our domestic violence survivor care package build. And this is going to happen for the duration of General Assembly in Hall D. It's a really big and very central space in the layout of General Assembly. We're really excited to, again, partner and work with Side with Love, specifically Elizabeth Gwen and Nora Rassman, who have been working directly with us on everything related to public witness. And our goal is to, over the course of General Assembly, to build 1,000 domestic violence care packages, which are distributed by the Real Justice Network, our local partners in Kansas City, to folks that are fleeing dangerous domestic situations. And it gives them just a little bit of security. So there's some emergency supplies that usually when people have to flee situations, they leave everything behind. So they don't have anything like shampoo and razors and menstrual supplies and water and even a pen and a little notebook for them to be able to take notes and write things in that are important in this process of trying to get to a safer place. And so we're going to build 1,000 of these packages over the course of that. We've been sharing our wish list all over the place. We also have some amazing congregations that have stepped up to some direct asks to come and kind of fill in the gaps. And also we're asking folks to bring a gently used purse with them. And I want to talk a little bit about that because I think people don't quite understand the relevance of that. One of the things that the Real Justice Network, when we got to meet with them and talk with them in Kansas City before Revival last month, was that one of the things they try to do is really make sure they respect the dignity and worth of those that are seeking their support. Now, obviously, those buzzwords are going to bring bells off to all of us UUs, as it's pretty inherent in our first principle as well. And so when I started to ask more about that, one of the things they mentioned is that for these care packages, rather than just putting them in, generic bags, they ask people to donate gently used purses so that when women come and they need this support, they just pick a purse that speaks to them. So nobody doesn't have to know that what's in it is a care package that they needed because they're fleeing a domestic situation, and they have to get to keep that purse and also have the security of the things inside of it. So we're asking folks to bring 1 or 2 gently used purses with them to use for the project. And then at any point during the weekend, just stop by Hall D. You can run through, just build a couple of the care packages and be right on your way. You can do this at any time. It'll be open throughout the normal hours of General Assembly, again, in Hall D. And if you haven't already done so, you have just a few more days to hit that wish list up. And we'll be having it open until Sunday, which is the last day that we can get things shipped directly to us in Kansas City. The last thing I want to mention, which is super important to everybody listening right here, because it's for POCI, people of color and Indigenous folks only, is a trip to this amazing maternal and infant health facility in Kansas City called Uzazi Village. We got to spend some time with Mama Hakima, who is the executive director, and also a lot of other organizers that work directly there. And they have this amazing vision, which is for every family, a healthy baby, and for every baby, a healthy village. And it really spoke to us. We all know about the devastating statistics when it comes to Black folks and the health of our moms, the health of our babies in the healthcare system in this country. And Uzazi Village is this really forward-thinking, radical, amazing space that looks to combat all of the ways in which the system seeks to silence the care and needs of Black and brown people in Kansas City. And so right after worship, we'll have a bus available. Folks will be able to just jump on that bus, head right over to Uzazi Village. There's a couple of different projects we'll be working on. They have what they call a community closet, which is where they actually set up donated children's clothing like a store, so people get to come and actually feel like they're shopping when they're in need for clothing. And also they have this amazing outdoor space that they're just starting to build out. So we're going to build some furniture for that space as well. This is a really amazing opportunity to be in community with folks that are already in this community doing this amazing work, and also to leave a lasting gift to Uzazi Village itself. And so again, that's going to be right after our worship. We'll be leaving around 3:15. And I want to just also mention that the WEAR lecture is also, we know, very important to all of us. So you'll be back in plenty of time to also change if you need to, and get to the WEAR lecture in plenty of time. And we will have some handheld food for you at Uzazi Village, so you'll get a little bit of nourishment if you don't have time to grab a bite when you get back. And that's it for public witness. And I think I'm turning the floor over to Takia.
Hey everybody, I'm so glad to be with you. Looking forward to General Assembly. It's going to be an action-packed week. I was laughing too at this year we're going to do less. No, we're not. We're just doing the things that we are moved to do by spirit, and glad to be doing those things with you and for you. So on Thursday, I will see everybody in the healing space at our welcome reception. I'll be tipping out around 4:30 to fill in for our beloved Kenny Wiley, who won't be with us this year, GA, on the panel that is happening in room 2215C on the white supremacy teachings. And while that was not a BLUU project, we did sort of use our resources to support the white supremacy teaching and to amplify that message. So I'll be on that panel talking about our support and the work that we did there. I'll be back right after the panel up in the healing space to facilitate the 8th principle talk with our own elder Paula Cole Jones, Miss Paula Cole Jones, which I'm super excited to do. There's been a lot of conversation, I would say, even in the last 6 weeks in our closed Facebook group about 8th principles. So if you have questions, or if you're new to General Assembly, it would be great to come and find out what the status is of that. And also hear from other people in the group whose congregations have really been pushing that work forward on the ground at a grassroots level already. So that's Thursday. Yes. So on Friday, the 22nd, I will be with everybody again in the healing space for the Q&A with the organizing collective. Happy to be with everyone and answer and respond to your questions. At 5 o'clock that evening in the healing space, I will be facilitating the presentation that Dr. Ntamgulisi Sanyika will be delivering in the space. My role really at that will be not only to introduce our speaker, but also to facilitate our Q&A and really guide those of you who are present in the space through the process to ensure that not only do we get a thorough presentation from Baba Sanyika, which would be a real treat, but also helping to craft the questions and really synthesize them so that we can have some engaging dialogue there as well. So that should be a really great and exciting opportunity. I will also be with us in the healing space on Saturday at 12:15, facilitating the HBCU talk. One of the things that we've been talking about for a few years now, and this idea seems to be gaining traction, is thinking about Unitarian Universalism and how it shows up in the world, particularly in places where we think the message of our faith could be amplified and useful. So what would it be not only to be thinking more meaningfully about Unitarian Universalist campus ministry, but to also begin thinking about what does Unitarian Universalist campus ministry look like in the context of a historically Black college or university? What does it mean for those of us who are committed to this growing communitarian energy around sort of a Black Unitarian Universalism? What would it mean for us to think about having that faith amplified in relationship to divinity schools that are historically Black as well? So we'll be having that conversation in the space. Looking forward to being with everybody during the Uzazi Village build out, as well as coming back and enjoying the WEAR lecture that evening. So I'm really excited about being with everybody. No one's saying it, we're all exhausted, but the only thing we are more than exhausted is excited to be with you. So, you know, we're counting down. We're excited for this opportunity. We cannot wait to be with you. I will also be on call as a volunteer, giving pastoral care and support through through and with the other chaplains who are working on behalf of BLUU Men next week. And we'll hear more about that in just a little bit. So I'm excited to be with you. I cannot wait. GA is going to be great. And we just can't wait to be in community physically together with all of you. So that's it for me. I'm turning it over to Reverend Michael.
Before you start, Michael, I am remiss. I totally forgot to plug the panel that I'm going to be on Friday night representing BLUU for UUJME. And that, again, is going to be at the Marriott Colonial Room, which I won't even get into how ironic that is. But whatevs. Anyways, it's going to be 7 o'clock. It's an actual evening of programming. They're going to have some music and also a really amazing panel where we're really going to be getting into the ways that white supremacy is connected to liberation movements across the globe. So if you're interested in that, please join me and the rest of my panelists for that on Friday evening. Okay, sorry, I'll open to you, Mike.
It's all good. Make sure people know about all the things. All the things. It is absolutely true, Takia. Thank you for saying that out loud, that other than exhausted, we are all super excited to be with all of you next week. For those of you who don't know me, Reverend Michael Slack, I'm the Community Minister for Worship and Spiritual Care for BLUU. It has been the greatest joy of my ministry to be among you and to be in service to you and serving with all of you. You know, I say this a lot because I believe it's true. We are all ministers up in this place. We are all giving of ourselves in the ways that we can and are committed to, even if it's just being still with somebody who needs that. You are ministering to somebody in that moment. And believe it or not, the healing space, it's one of those spots where anything is possible and everything is possible in terms of pastoral and spiritual care. So, you know, be open to receiving that, whatever that may be, and be open to offering that in ways that you might not even think are possible. So just wanted to say that out loud. It related specifically to pastoral care, just as we did last year, there are going to be chaplains throughout our time at GA who have either been a part of the BLUU Ministerial Network or folks who have along the way over the last year or so have expressed a real desire and intention to be present for people. Pastoral care is about presence. And sometimes that might look like just sitting with somebody and listening. You know, being in a space like the healing space it is a heart filled up kind of moment, especially if you're going to be in that space for the very first time, to see it, just a sea of Black folks who are you all in one place, loving on each other, listening to music, reading things together, you know, just kicking it, having a good time. Like that could bring up so much for so many of us. And so, and even just everything that we carry into GA, right? So much is going on in all of our lives. We're sitting here in this webinar, like none of us are going through anything. And the reality is all of us are going to carry whatever it is that we're carrying into the space of General Assembly. And so the hope and prayer is that those of us who are showing up intentionally as BLUU chaplains and those of us who are in the space wanting to help hold space for somebody we happen to be sitting next to, that's what we're going to do and offer to folks as they need it. The way that is going to work from the BLUU chaplains standpoint is we're going to have folks on in 4 different shifts throughout the day, at least one person and hopefully one other person on call. 2 will be in the space. You will know that they're there we're going to get some sashes for folks to wear. If you were at Revival, you saw this. Folks walked around with these really fun sashes when they were on shift. So be on the lookout for that. We'll announce that at the welcoming reception, what the sash looks like, so you can recognize it. And so if you see somebody in the healing space with that sash on, you know that they are prepared to be with you pastorally. The other thing that we've invited folks to do is to share what their gifts are. Because spiritual giftings come in all shapes and sizes and colors. And, you know, there are folks who are a part of our spiritual care team who love to do art and love to paint and love to color. If that will uplift you spiritually, you know, you can let us know that and we'll connect you with that person. And maybe y'all can just sit and be together for a little while and color, not talk at all I'm inviting everybody to really be open to what pastoral and spiritual care may look like, and what folks may need in that moment. So there'll be folks on shift from 9 to noon. They're 3-hour shifts, 9 to noon, noon to 3, 3 to 6, and 6 to 9. Throughout our time from Thursday, beginning at the time of the welcome reception, through Sunday early afternoon. And we're also going to be, some of us will be available on call if we need additional assistance and guidance along the way. Also, if you happen not to see anyone, or you happen not to be in the healing space, but you are a Black UU and would really appreciate being able to sit down with someone, you can always call our pastoral care line. And if folks call that line, I actually have that. I have that line. We'll get a message. You can leave a message by leaving a voicemail or by text, and we will get it and schedule some time with you and another of our chaplains. That number, in case folks don't know it, is 984-219-8711. Again, that number is 984-219-8711. And we'll actually post that up in the healing space, so you don't have to go hunting for it. We'll have it in a couple of different places. So if you need it, you can have it and know that you can call that number and receive the care that you need. So we're really blessed and excited to be able to be with all of you. And we'll say a little bit more about that at the welcome reception, and even have a schedule for those of us in leadership, so we know who's available and when. So that's just a little word about pastoral care. Also, I will certainly be available and ready to be a part of the Q&A with the whole OC on Friday from 12:15 to 1:30. So I'm excited to be with folks. It's always fun when we get together and share what's going on in our BLUU world. So looking forward to that. I'm also going to be holding down some trans and gender nonconforming caucus space, specifically 2 times during J, on Friday from 2 to 3:30, and on Saturday from 8:30 to 9:30. We actually had some really amazing time at Revival in April, and one of the things that a couple of us came to the conclusion was that, my goodness, like we don't know where we all are. We know that we are all over this faith, and we also know that there are often too few spaces where we can show up as trans, much less show up unapologetically Black and trans. And so this will be an opportunity for Black, trans, genderqueer, gender nonconforming folks to get together and just be together, share what's going on in our lives, talk about how we may want to be in touch and stay in touch with each other. Because, as I say, it is often hard for us to find one another, especially in Unitarian Universalist spaces. So I'm excited to be a part of that and to join folks in that. So if that caucus space applies to you, we'll look forward to seeing you there. The other thing that I wanted to make sure I announce again is that Paige Ingram, who is our administrative and organizational extraordinaire, will be holding down some space for BLUU Micro 30 meetups. And that's also going to be on Friday from 7:30 to 9 p.m. So we hope folks are able to be there for that. If you've been a part of BLUU Micro 30 groups in the past and are excited to see what we're doing with that work and that ministry, please come to that. And the last thing I think I'll talk about is worship. My goodness, when we get together for worship, it is just magical and love-filled and hope-filled. And we are going to do worship again in the healing space like we did last year. That's going to be on Saturday from 1:45 to 3, right before we get, so we're going to get our spirits lifted up on Saturday. And then we're going to go, for those of us who can and are prepared to do that, are going to get on the bus and go to Uzazi Village for that gathering. So we're excited for that worship space. It's going to be a lot of music. It's going to be community sing. Folks are going to share some words. And last I heard, Our dear brother, David Smith, who is the executive director of worship, I believe now at All Souls Tulsa. We're excited to have him in the space, helping to lead music, and maybe some other musicians. If you want to show up with your percussion, with your percussive devices, your tambourines, come with a tambourine if you know how to use a tambourine, because that can get. But I won't say more. But come with your tambourine if you have one. Come with your drums if you have them. We're just gonna have a good time together in this space and get ourselves ready for the rest of the activities on Saturday afternoon. So those are the things that I'm particularly involved with, and you will likely see me around at some other workshops throughout the time of GA, just because I have interest and love for some of this work, and so I will be excited to see you. Don't hesitate to stop me in the hallway. People do it anyway, but I love it. Don't hesitate to stop me and say hi if I'm not in the healing space, because that connection matters to me and to all of us. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing folks next week. I think I'm handing it off to Samuel.
Yes, you handed it off to me, and I am so excited to be a part of this organizing collective here. My job is one of pure joy, one of whereby I would be focusing on workshops. I will be attending workshops, general session. I will be in and out of those spaces there, just making sure that the representation of BLUU is there, and and making notes so that at least our BLUU family is well fed. Also, I would be in and out also of looking at various involved in the shifts as far as where the pastoral care is concerned. So I am just elated that over the past couple of years I have had to be a part of another committee, and now I am where my interest is, and this for me will be a tremendous joy of being able to partake and to be of assistance here in various ways. So again, it's what Michael there just viably said. If you're around and you see me or anyone of us, just let us know. Just let us know if there's any concerns in which you may have. And then that way we would be able to resolve that if there is any solution in which is needed. But my joy is just to be a part of this team and just to know the fact that we will be representing BLUU, and we would be making sure that all the BLUU family as to who is there, they are taken care of. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Latoya.
So I'm gonna
Lena.
jump in before
Sorry,
Latanya closes
okay.
out, just to mention that as Samuel said, we have sessions that we would love for there to be a BLUU presence at, and we would love for whoever is able to go to be able to report back sort of what happened in those sessions, because we can't be in all of the places all of the time. And so all of those sessions are on Friday. And I'm copying a link and dropping it in the chat. You can sign up and be sort of a BLUU sort of street team if you want to sign up for those sessions. The first one, there's two actually, at 11:15 to 12:15 on Friday. The first one is Gathering Ourselves, Resources for People of Color. That's in room 1501A. The next one at the same time is Where Power Lives, Mapping to Dismantle White Supremacy. That's in room 2102B. The next one is at 1:30 to 4 p.m. It's called Be Bold, ! Vital Multicultural Congregations and Communities. That's in room 2103A. And then there's one from 7 to 8:30 p.m. called Are You a Lay Minister? and that is in room 2211. So again, if you are interested in going to any of those and letting us know how they go and what's happening, please sign up on the form that's in the chat. And yeah, did I miss anything? Anybody have anything to add on that? All right. Well, with that, I'm going to hand it over to LaTanya to close us out.
Okay. I also, regarding sessions in the General Assembly, on Thursday at 1:30, there are 6 or 7 different ones that might also be of interest to us. So I think each evening during our downtime in the healing space would be a great time to connect. If there was something especially moving or beneficial or worrisome about a session that you attended, it would be a good opportunity for us to kind of share and debrief and use the space in that way. Also, I was looking to see, but I think I've covered everything in my notes. The other thing I wanted to mention is that during General Session 1 on Thursday, 9:15 to 12:15 plenary, there will be a statement of public witness that will be done by Leslie. So if you happen to be in the large room at that time, you know, put up your hands, lend some support and happiness and all that kind of stuff as she talks to the larger group about our public witness effort this year. And other than that, I would just say, let's not forget the ministry of hip hop. And so I'll bring appropriate music for those that get their renewal and strength in that regard. I'm happy to rap from the Pastoral Care Corner as the need arises, but I'm looking forward to us just coming together and having a great time. And if there's anything, again, that I can do to make the space more welcoming, more comfortable, more fun, more spiritually uplifting for any of you, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. And I'll see you next week.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks, everyone. That concludes our webinar. We'll see
you in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Take care all.
We can't wait. We're so excited. Bye.
And then he'll be an actor.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
And then he'll be an actor.